first Money Mondays of 2021 is afoot. Yes, we're back. And we have rare mints today that I've already gone forward and unboxed myself during Christmas time because, hey, I wanted to have a little holiday spirit. It was actually the only new gift to open for this holiday season because I'm actually far past that from a long time ago. But sometimes you just have to make up some things to remind yourself of an easier time. Even though I'm an atheist, I like gifts and I like free things. So that's something that reminds me of days of yore, a simpler day where we maybe had a fighting chance of knowing what the fuck's going on right now. So, since these are mint rares, I'm a glove up as per normal. Of course, as per usual, we have sound pollution galore in my vlogs because, as I've mentioned before, I like vlogging outside and I'll capture whatever manners of what's going on with this glove bullshit that happens. Jesus. Okay. Alright. Now that I'm gloved up, let's open our clear pouch. But before that, we'll show them all in their glory. Afoot, afoot. I think that the separate curated sets are going to be repetitive because they already have been, but that's fine. The strong disclaimer I should exclaim right now is that I'm actually playing a guessing game with myself. This is just me having fun with myself, but just recording it for a vlog. I have, as you can see, empty hands. No phone, except the phone that's recording. The phone that's recording is doing but one thing, recording. Okay? All of the facts that I spew forth as if they are facts are actually just speculations, because without the Googles, I've no clue exactly how to ID things. But what I'll do is I'll start with my storytelling. This is a note that, at least organizationally, looks like the smallest note of the bunch, and might actually be a note we've already covered, but we'll cover it again. This is a small note from China. When I say small, I mean small. This is smaller than any bill that I've come across, at least in this set. Maybe the same of this bill was the smallest in a previous vlog, but again, this is all based on memory and speculation, so I'll leave it to a loyal viewer to double check whether that is indeed the case. But I think in China and Hong Kong they had a habit of these small bills, because I showed one to my mom, at least one from Hong Kong, and she recalls bills being really this small and tiny. actually do have a legend here, but do I want to ruin my fun with facts? The whole point of why I play this game is because it's what's keeping me entertained. But yes, a legend comes with this set, and if I really need the legend, I'll refer to it. But for now, I'll rely on my speculations, as per usual. In my location, people are always competing with me in terms of sound. So I have to be careful. Okay. The other one I knew was from China because I can read Chinese, at least to an elementary level. This one, I'm gonna have to start speculating, but then I immediately had a clue because they printed in English. Pakistan. 1 rupee. The funny thing to me is that I'm always so on the lookout for Arabic that everything is starting to resemble Arabic to me. Yeah. I'm gonna keep them in order. I think they came in just roughly reverse size order. Ooh. Okay. We have the Habib Eagle. From what I speculated last time was an ex-Soviet bloc. And I maintain that I still think it's an ex-Soviet bloc country that proudly displays Khabib the Eagle. Will they just let the man retire already? Are we at the point where we're tired of Connor and just talk? We want performance in action? Since I'm detouring into a Connor story. Am I? Okay. I'll save the Connor story for later. Later being now, I guess. When I explored Ireland, the last country before my bush camping of Africa, I actually stayed partially in Inchicore, which is where Connor's old hood is. I believe when he lived there it was a rougher, tumbler neighborhood, but by the time I arrived it had already cleaned up its act. Too bad for me, because I would have wanted to observe the shenanigans that built Connor into what he is. This might might actually be, yes, from my 100th country of Egypt. I was going to announce it before turning it over, and then the reverse side verified. The Arab Republic of Egypt. She's the iconic Egyptian lady. If I'm speculating, she's Nefertiti. But who knows? Thousands and thousands of years ago, who this possibly could have been. This is a bill, actually, from 1940. Yes, anyone who's observed me adventure traveling or interacted with me in any way will notice that I'm actually treating these bills better than I treat my body. That's because I'm one of those. I'm a rough tumble person. And I think that serves me well when I'm adventure backpacking, adventure sporting, and doing any manners of adventure, because you're gonna get dirty. And if you spend too much time thinking about that, you'll never get anything done. This is the first bill we've come across with some slight signs of wear. This is actually quite interesting. There. The vendor that's curated this collection has had remarkably crisp, clean, mint rare notes. And this is a complete mystery to me. Do I even have a guess? Am I gonna guess ex-Soviet bloc for everything? I'm actually really thinking, what is this? What is this? Huh. It's a good one. It's a good one to think and reflect on. Should I cheat on the legend just for fun? Sorry, I would have cheated on the legend, but I've already covered up the legend with my tinier notes. Too bad for you. The next country, when I resume my adventure travels, I'll be excited to trek wild tigers here. I know the average person probably dreams of the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal will definitely be a short stop. But for me, I'm much more interested in natural beauty and animals. The other stuff, architecture, people, I'll definitely encounter and interact with as I go, but that's always been less of my priority. The world's too big to possibly have everything be your first priority. So you have to choose. You have to pick and choose because your energy and time's limited. That goes for any time in life. Your energy and time is limited, so you have to pick what's the best use of your time and energy right now. So for me, animals and natural scenery usually is my priority over anything else. But that being said, I obviously have visited my fair share of people-centric places, architecture, and the such. Because they're there, they're on the way. We definitely have some new notes, and my phone is reminding me that I've used it to the core. What I usually have trouble IDing is notes, banknotes, coins from countries that I've yet to travel to. I even sometimes have trouble identifying ones from countries I've traveled to because there's just a lot of stuff to consider when you're traveling. My first priority is usually enjoying the experience as is. My second is recording and otherwise journaling my emotions in the form of private videos and public vlogs. The reason why I have to split between the two is because vlogging is still relatively lower quality than videoing. So for videos, I've already filmed 4K plus in both 2D, 360 and VR, but vlogging really can only reasonably sustain 720 consistently. Once you start going over 720, the vlog tends to choke, and that's something I have to consider because I've mentioned I'm editing my own documentary series. I should be clear that this is a self-project, and any of the projects I do, art, adventure, or otherwise, are really just for me, because if you think too much about audiences and who's watching, you'll never get anything meaningful done. That's my opinion, at least. I mean, obviously people gotta eat, people gotta find ways to make ends meet, but I think if you allow yourself to be free when creating art, you have the best outcome. The problem is, the way the world is structured, very few people can actually live the way they want all the time. We are actually slaves, much like this animal here. This ex-Soviet bloc animal. Humans are animals too. We like to think we're different, better, more intelligent, but I think we've mistaken ourselves. I think this type of filming actually lends itself better because standing off to the side, which allows more of the light to come from the light side. And that's probably what was affecting the vlogs from before. Sometimes, to be completely honest, you just want to shit out your thoughts without too much concern for technicalities. And that's something that I'll always have to actively have a discussion with myself. How technical am I versus how free am I? And freedom always comes at a cost, even in your own mind. For example, if you're fully free, you often forget about contexts. How good is my flag recognizing? Fun with flags. And Dr. Sheldon Cooper probably whipped my ass, but I think this is Hungary. At least by flag. Let me think. Is it Hungary? I think so. That's my best guess. And the ex-Soviet bloc lettering is a hint. Is it Hungary? That's the thing. Dr. Sheldon Cooper of the Big Bang Theory has what's called a photographic memory. I have a super brain's memory. So recently I probably organized photos from this very country. And I think it's Hungary. But I could be way, way off. That's why I should remind again, this is just a fun guessing game for me that I've decided to share with y'all, or none of you if no one else but me is watching. That's the thing. This is my fun game. I try my best, but again, I am merely speculating on what country these bills are coming from, unless it's clearly printed in English. This is probably from that same country again. Yes, it is the same country. And I'm gonna have the same guess, which is Hungary. Budapest. Let me think. Yes. In observing these bills, the number of times I guess ex-Soviet bloc, you can take a shot. I'm straight edge, so I'll take a big gulp of water, but you drink whatever you please. With respects to the documentary, like everything, it's just my brainchild. I should actually start using another word because that word confuses people. Whenever I mention the word child, those who know I'm an antinatalist get confused, okay? I'm an antinatalist. I'm never having children in any form, whether out of my own body or through adoption. Just way too much responsibility and no pleasure, honestly. I'm biologically maladaptive. I find literally no positive case to have children, and if anything, I think it's actually a really mean thing to do. It's a really mean thing to create a child to suffer in this world, because that's exactly what you're doing by creating them. Yes. Ex-Soviet bloc. I even mean by ex-Soviet bloc? In my mind, it's literally all of Eastern Europe, the stands. They're all ex-Soviet bloc. We probably have time for one or two more. Huh. Croatia has an interesting scientific motif on this here bill. Like, what's all this math stuffs here? What's all this math stuffs? Do I even recognize this building? My guess would be I came across it in Croatia. But honestly, Dubrovnik is much better known for its walled city, the second largest walled fortification in the world after the Great Wall of China. I find that really, really surprising. That means the Chinese and their walls are superior, because the Dubrovnik wall in scale is much smaller, much smaller than the Great Wall of China. I've trekked sections of both. Actually, to be more specific, I've trekked the entire one in Dubrovnik, but only a small section of the one in the Great Wall. Because the Great Wall is actually really, really long. Too long for what my tour back in 2011 allotted. They actually only allowed us an hour to hike one small section of the wall. And that section was a mix of old and reconstructed. The thing about these older artifacts, these older structures around the world, is that they do have to do some restoration. If you've watched my live vlogs from Greece last year, actually 2019,